Acrocanthosaurus, the high-spined lizard. An apex predator, and a good one at that. Each side of its upper jaw sports 19 razor-sharp teeth, but I don't recommend getting close enough to count them all. Dun 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 dun! Watch out! Here comes the shark lizard, Carcharodontosaurus. There must have been something in the water back in Predaceous North Africa, because Carcharodontosaurus wasn't the only carnivore around that reached gigantic proportions. Many of the geological formations that preserve its fossils also yield the remains of Spinosaurus. Coelophysis is without a doubt the most iconic dinosaur of the Triassic period. Just like how many Hollywood icons have left their handprints behind in concrete at the famous Chinese theatre, many fossilised footprints known as grelata have been attributed to Coelophysis. It must have been quite a celebrity back in the day. Now this is an interesting fellow. This dinosaur is called Deinocheirus, a name meaning horrible hand. Although it may look intimidating, this animal's diet primarily consisted of fish and plants. A real connoisseur, don't you think? Dilophosaurus is such a gorgeous creature. Some paleontologists think the grasping claws and shape of its jaws made it well suited to hunting fish. Others argue that it was built for more terrestrial prey. In my experience, the distinction between surf and turf doesn't matter. They'll eat anything they can get their hands on. While Tyrannosaurus is widely considered the largest predatory dinosaur in terms of sheer bulk, it's not the longest of them. In that competition, it's Spinosaurus who reigns supreme. Much of the bizarre body of Spinosaurus remained a mystery for many years. The original specimen was fragmentary and was tragically destroyed during the bombing of Munich during World War II. Fortunately, recent discoveries of more complete specimens have not only brought its peculiarities to light, but also provided the genetic material needed to perform the miracle of recreating it here in the park. Ah yes, the Torvosaurus, an apex predator of the Jurassic. Its sleek profile made it a formidable foe for even the biggest of prey items. If you want my advice, it's best observed from a safe distance. There it is, the one and only king of the tyrant lizards. Tyrannosaurus is as big as the movies, and yet somehow even scarier. Take a good look at those arms. Each arm is 1 metre long, can hold almost 200 kilos, and ends in razor-sharp claws. Far from the wimpy little stubs most of the public makes them out to be. Blink and you'll miss it. Here comes the speedy thief, Velociraptor. By far the most popular feature of Velociraptor is its sickle-shaped killing claw. One of our interpreters loves to carry a replica with him to show to the children. It always seems to make a big impression. There it is, Carcharodontosaurus, the star of the Morrison Formation. Don't let its peculiar mouth scare you. The long chisel-like teeth may look like a carnivore's, but they are actually much better adapted to rip coarse leaves from tree branches. Although, to be fair, we haven't really put the theory to the test. You can't get a much more classic dinosaur than Brachiosaurus. Look at the size of this magnificent animal. The way it moves about, with the grace fit for a giant. It's a real privilege to be able to cherish these beautiful creatures. Now, I've seen skeletons of Argentinosaurus before, but nothing can prepare you for the sheer immensity of this dinosaur in the flesh. A single vertebrae from the back of this animal could be over 1.5 meters tall. It's always a pleasure to run into a fellow Brit so far away from home. Meet Solidosaurus, an early armoured dinosaur from England and Ireland. Remarkably, paleontologists have found specimens of every bone in the skeleton of Solidosaurus. An impressive feat, considering that many dinosaurs are only known from partial or even fragmentary skeletons. A Dryosaurus. Quite elegant, don't you think? They're especially cute as babies when they have big eyes and stubby noses, just like a puppy. Now that, my friend, is a beautiful dinosaur. Almost like a musical instrument, Parasaurolophus used their crest for long-distance communication. The crests are made out of bone riddled with hollow tubes, which help amplify that beautiful singing voice of theirs. You're listening to the first orchestra on Earth. Just look at that. This sailback dinosaur is Ororanosaurus, an ornithopod related to both the thumb-spiked iguanodonts and the duck-billed hadrosaurs. I wouldn't get too close, though. Just like its iguanodontian cousins, the thumbs of Uranosaurus sport a sharp conical claw. When they're feeling feisty, they come out swinging like a boxer. Lambeosaurus, a crested hadrosaur from the late Cretaceous. Like others of its kind, it uses its unique hatchet-shaped crest as a sort of resonating chamber. Though not essential, it's also great at giving a thumbs up. Iguanodon, one of the first dinosaurs to be formally named. Reconstructions of this animal have changed dramatically over the years, from a giant rhinoceros-like reptilian beast to the beautiful animal you see before you now. It really makes you wonder, what will paleontologists discover next to fundamentally change the way we view other dinosaurs? Found all over Western North America, Edmontosaurus is the textbook definition of a hadrosaur. Hadrosaurs are commonly referred to as duck-billed dinosaurs. But don't let that catchy moniker fool you. These dinosaurs lived on land, not in water. Triceratops, one of the most recognisable and largest dinosaurs of its kind. Having lived alongside predators like the T-Rex, those giant horns start to make a lot more sense. Now, let's not mix the two together. With a head like that, we must be looking at Styracosaurus. The purpose of these gorgeous frills has long vexed paleontologists. Were they primarily for display, temperature regulation, or neck protection? Now that we have one in the flesh, hopefully we can solve this mystery once and for all. Now this little fella is a Psittacosaurus. Thanks to a number of recent findings, we were able to restore this creature to a high degree of genetic accuracy, right down to the quills and coloration in some of its species. Protoceratops. This animal is one of the smaller species of ceratopsians, living alongside deadly neighbours like the velociraptor. Thankfully, this little critter is surprisingly speedy. Compared to its larger cousins, the foot structure and limb proportions of Protoceratops are much better adapted to running. I guess that's important if you're trying to avoid speedy thieves like Velociraptor. Ah, a Pachyrhinosaurus. I've been told that these dinosaurs are quite bossy. Instead of a nasal horn, Pachyrhinosaurus sports an overgrown mass of bone called a nasal boss above its eyes and nose. It certainly lives up to its name, the thick-nosed lizard. Wow, look at the horns on that one. This must be Nasutoceratops, a ceratopsian best identified by its large cow-like features. This massive creature weighs approximately 1.5 tons. To put that into perspective, a mature Spanish fighting bull can weigh up to 0.7 tons. Imagine setting that loose on the streets of Pamplona in Spain. At last, the woolly mammoth, ruler of the Ice Age, then ruler of none. There's nothing quite like it on the planet today. It's not going to be easy caring for these elephants, but luckily there's a lot of research we can reference as we try to keep them fit and healthy. They represent so much of what we've set out to do, so we can't disappoint the world now. Oh boy, that's a big kitty, more commonly known as the saber-toothed tiger. Smilodon makes for a formidable predator. Many of its fossils have been excavated in tar pits, with the most prolific site being La Brea in Los Angeles, California. More than a staggering 166,000 specimens of Smilodon have been found in these sediments alone. What may have been terrible death traps in the past make for great opportunities in the present as we bring this carnivore back to life. The woolly rhino, or Coelodonta, is a relative to the modern-day Sumatran rhino. Not unlike modern species, this rhinoceros sports 2 horns on its face. A key difference to note, however, is its unusual flattened shape. That's truly unique among its peers.